Hello, Michael Leanna here, again with a word game idea from We Think with Ink. I have two games that are much the same but different in an important way, and they're both pretty fun. The first one I'd like to tell you about is called Word Tennis. It's played much like the game of tennis, where somebody starts by serving a ball over the net, and the other person has to hit it back, and then it goes back and forth for as long as the two players can keep it going. Sometimes a game of tennis like that ends pretty quickly when somebody can't get it back over the net. Sometimes it goes back and forth many, many times, and it goes for a long, long time before finally somebody can't do it, and then that part of the game is over. And that's how this game is played. The person who starts the game is like a person serving the ball over the net, and they do that by just saying something like this. They challenge the other player to come up with a word. They might say something like this: I'm thinking of a word that has 5 letters and it starts with SH. That's like serving the ball over the net. This can be played with 2 people, 1 against 1. It can be played with a whole classroom full of people. You cut the class in half, and all these people are on one team and all these people are on the other, and they think together to try to think of these words. So the ball has been served. 5-letter word, ends or starts with SH. The first person says shirt. That means they hit the ball back over the net to the first person, the person who served it. Now they have to think of another one. Can they? They say sharp. The ball went back over the net, and it keeps going back and forth. It could be a word like shoes with an S at the end, making it a plural. It makes it a 5-letter word, starts with SH, and it keeps going back and forth until finally somebody can't do it, and that's when you score a point. You can score this the way they score tennis, if you like, or you can just keep it simpler and just take a point if you are the one who goes the longest, and play till you get up to 10. Simple. This can be done in the classroom with big groups until finally somebody in this group can't think of one, and then the other team gets that point. Now, there's a similar game that I call My Word, and this one's a little bit different, but much the same. The leader starts by writing down a word. They might write down the word sharp and use that same direction. But let's do something different. I will say, for my word, I'm thinking of a 5-letter word, and it ends with the letter F. I have to write it down for this game, though. I want to prove to people that this is the one I was thinking of in the beginning, because you're thinking of my word this time, not just any word that ends with F. My word. See if you can guess which word I am thinking of and that I have written down. So I start. This can be played with just a leader in a big room full of students in a classroom. This could be played in the car when you're driving along, challenge the other people in the car. It could be played anywhere with any number of people. But this time it's not going back and forth like the tennis game. It's one person who has a word, a particular word, my word, and everybody else is trying to guess what it is. So in a classroom, I might say, I've written down a word, 5 letters, ends with F. Who can think of a word that fits that description? And who can think of the word I've written down? That's the main thing. So somebody might raise her hand or his hand, and they say stuff, STUFF. Good. That's a word that ends with F, and it has 5 letters. You get 1 point. It's not the word I have written down here, so we'll keep guessing, but you get a point for that, because that was a good word. Somebody else might say shelf. Very good. Another word that has 5 letters, ends with F. You get a point, but it's not mine. Somebody might say dwarf. Good, not my word. You keep going until somebody gets my word. And you hope that it happens eventually, but maybe it doesn't. Then you'll just think of a different word and start a new round with a new challenge. My word, by the way, was scarf. SCARF. And if somebody had said that, they would get 5 points or 3 points or however you want to score it. And then they would get the chance to challenge the class. The person who leads this game, it changes all the time. So when somebody guesses the word that is my word, the leader's word, then they get the opportunity to do a new one. Be careful with both of these games that you don't make them too easy or too hard. Don't challenge somebody to think of a word that has 5 letters and the last letter is V. I don't know if there are any, maybe, but that'd be too hard. Your game of tennis would never get started and be fun at all. And also, don't make it too easy. Coming up with, don't say, think of a word that has 4 letters and the last letter is S. The game would go for too long and it would be kind of tiresome after a while, I think. So make it more challenging and make it more fun by thinking of something a little bit, in between those two ways of making it too easy or way too hard. There are lots of ways to do it. You could ask for words that start with a certain letter or letters. They might have a letter in the middle somewhere that you say. Think of a word that has the letter B right in the middle. There are some, of course. There are lots of ways to do these games. I hope you have fun playing them, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.